Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Now we are nearing the end of the MetalHead birthday marathon. We've got one more day after this, and hopefully you've enjoyed the videos that we've been looking at. Just to recap for anybody who's missed the beginning of the week, we're looking back at heavy metal videos from the early 90s, back 1991 to 1993, and these are the songs that sort of inspired and shaped my taste in heavy metal music. Because back in 1991, I was 11 years old. I was just starting secondary school, or high school if you will, and every Sunday night my older brother would record a heavy metal show on MTV called Headbangers Ball. And throughout the week, you know, before we went to school, we'd watch that episode of Headbangers Ball. You know, we'd watch these heavy metal videos for about an hour before we went off to school. And that's where my taste in heavy metal sort of started to grow. You know, before then I'd obviously heard bands like Iron Maiden, unfortunately I don't like Iron Maiden, but well, that's not the point. You know, I'd heard things like Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Black Sabbath, Dio, you know, that sort of thing. I'd heard those sorts of that sort of music beforehand, but it was when I was 11, when I started secondary school, you know, that my taste in heavy metal really started to grow. And, you know, watching all these music videos every morning, you know, I discovered such a wide array of different styles of heavy metal. You know, I discovered so many different bands. You know, it really formed what my taste in music is now. And today we're going to be looking at a band, I mean, they're still going now, band Ministry. Now, back in the early 90s, their sound was pretty different to what it is now. Well, I wouldn't say pretty different. There is a definitive difference in sound from then to now. But I do still like their music. And the first track I ever heard of theirs was a track called Just One Fix. Now, the video version, which is the one we're going to look at, is actually different from the album version. There's subtle differences, but there is differences between the two. But it was the video version that I first heard, and that's what sort of made me think, oh, I need to listen to the rest of this album. And the actual album, Psalm 69, is just brilliant. You know, it had some absolutely amazing tracks on it. There are like catchphrases from songs in that album that I still use in conversation, you know, and every now and then I'll just sort of sit there and go, Psalm 69, the way to succeed and the way to suck eggs, which is like just a brilliant line. But yeah, I heard Just One Fix, and this was another one of those songs back in the day. It had a very obvious meaning behind it. And at that point, you know, I was about 11, 12 years old at this point. And heavy metal was under that big cliche of being satanic music, all about murder, death, butchery, you know, that sort of thing. That was the impression that most of the world had of what heavy metal music is. Obviously, that's still around somewhat. But it was one of those songs, you know, it had a meaning behind it. It was a very obvious meaning just from watching the video, even for like an 11 or 12-year-old, you know, you could very easily understand what it is about. And of course, with the name of the track being Just One Fix, it was obvious that it was about drug abuse. Now, again, this, like with White Zombie, this is one of those bands where it sort of really caught my attention because it was very different from every other style of metal I'd heard at that point. You know, I'd heard death metal, I'd heard thrash metal, I'd heard gothic metal and gothic romantic metal. So hearing Ministry, I think this would be classified as industrial. I'm not entirely sure. You know, so it was another new style of heavy metal for me to discover. And, you know, again, it sort of really caught my attention. I was like, oh, I like this. Can I hear some more? So, of course, my older brother later went out, bought that album, and it was played to death. But yeah, we'll jump into this video. It's been a while since I've actually listened to this song as well. You know, all these classic tunes that I'm bringing up, you know, it's been a while since I listened to most of them. So let's just jump into this track. So Just One Fix by Ministry. Let's go.
Break it all down. stop if I wanted to.
There you go. Just One Fix by Ministry. Now, like I said, this version, the video version, sounds quite different to the album version. Like just the very intro to the video. Like there's the drums at the beginning of this. They're very different on the album version. Also on the album version, there's like a sample of two people having a conversation talking about drugs. You know, it's like, give me the Thorazine. Like, you don't need the Thorazine, just to relax. She's like, give me the Thorazine, sort of thing. And the actual musical arrangement in the video version is also slightly different, but the lyrics remain pretty much the same. And like I said, obviously the track itself is about drug abuse. Now, I found the lyrics. I've got the lyrics here, but they are from Genius. I'm hoping they're accurate. They sounded accurate, but you know, we can never know. But it goes, blood keeps drinking away, silence of desperation, driving through New Orleans at night, trying to find a destination. And then it goes into the chorus, just one fix. And that gets repeated several times. Then it keeps, life keeps slipping away, fighting in a war of damnation. Poisoned keeps cutting away. I'm looking in through to salvation. Just one fix. And then it goes to a sort of sampled version of the phrase, just one fix. And that gets repeated several times. Then it comes in with a third verse. Monkey starts driving a train, trying to take in another station. Join us and the choice will be made unless we kill the lie as a nation. And then just one fix, you know. So there isn't really many actual lyrics to the song, but there is a sort of impactful meaning behind it. You know, Monkey starts driving the train, trying to find another station. That's like the addiction sort of taking control of you, just trying to find another place to score more drugs. You know, having that monkey on your back, as it were, is like the addiction, and the monkey is sort of forcing you to go, or it's trying to take in another station, so trying to find somewhere else where you can score more drugs to feed your addiction. And, you know, life keeps slipping away, fighting in a war of damnation. So, like, you keep doing these drugs, and you're just looking for that high, for that enjoyment, but you're killing yourself over time. It says there, poison keeps cutting away. So, you know, there's a very sort of, it's a very straight to the point song about drug abuse. I mean, the first line of the entire track is "Never trust a junkie." You know, and obviously in the video there, you know, there were scenes of that guy obviously suffering from either drug withdrawal or, you know, having a bad trip or whatever, you know, thrashing around in the bathtub, his mate sort of carrying him into this hotel, you know, and trying to look after him whilst he's struggling, you know, his mate possibly going out to find him another fix. And, you know, just the chorus as well, you know, just one fix, you know, just one more, I swear, I only need one more, I'll never have another one after that, I'll never have another one after that, I'll never have another one after that, you know, just one more, there's always just one more. So yeah, you know, like I said, even at 11, 12 years old, it had a very obvious and very powerful message to it. And I mean, I've always been very much against drugs of any kind. You know, I will not be around them. I do not like them. Do not trust people that use them. Well, for the most part. I mean, I do know some people who use them, and you know, I've let them know my feelings on it. You know, so you know, if I see anybody using or partaking in drug use, I always, you know, I'm off. You know, I don't want to be anywhere near this. You know, so I've always had a very strong anti-drug sort of stance, and you know, seeing a song that sort of represented that in the genre of music that I was really getting into, you know, it's sort of like, oh, that's really cool, you know, because, you know, there was always this sort of negative impression of heavy metal, like I said at the beginning, you know, saying heavy metal was satanic, you know, saying that it was all about murder and that sort of thing, you know, all those bullshit lawsuits against Judas Priest, saying that if you played the records backwards, it was making kids, you know, kill people or commit suicide, you know, all that bullshit, you know, that was quite strong in the sort of 80s and 90s. So seeing a piece of music that was sending out a strong message saying, you know, drugs is bad, okay, you know, seeing that sort of thing in the track, I was like, you know, there are, you know, there is more to heavy metal than what the media is claiming, because obviously, like I said, I was like 11, 12 at the time, so maybe a little bit naive in things like that, but I really sort of latched onto it because it's like, you know, a positive, strong and powerful message from a piece of music, you know, that the song is saying drugs are bad, avoid them, don't trust people who use them, you know, stay away from them. So it was really sort of, it was a bit of an eye-opener going, there is more to this music than everybody is saying. And you know, it's trying to get that piece of information to other people, like these people who have that biased opinion of, heavy metal is just a whole bunch of swearing, sacrifices, murder and Satanism, you know, trying to get that piece of information to people who don't understand heavy metal is near impossible. You know, you'd have more luck trying to have a heated debate with a brick wall, you know. People just simply don't want to listen. They want to find a scapegoat, they want to find someone to blame. And it's always been heavy metal. I mean, it still is at you know, at some points today, you know, like when some of these school shootings happened in America, they had to make a point of the fact that the people doing it had listened to heavy metal. You know, no one ever makes mention of the fact that, you know, hip hop has a bigger community of violence than heavy metal does. You know, gangland shootings, drive-by shootings, you know, gang wars, that sort of thing. You know, these happen like so often in the hip hop community. Whereas you find violence connected to heavy metal very rarely. It does happen, I'm not saying it doesn't, it does happen, but it's very rare. But because heavy metal was a sort of minority culture, as it were, it was easy to just lay the blame on them because it sounded evil. You know, so seeing this and going, oh, there is like positivity here, there is something more to it than people are saying, you know, it really sort of latched me onto it even more, because it's like, I want to find out more. And, you know, in a way, that sort of thing inspired what I do now. You know, when I look at all these music videos on my channel, I always dive into the lyrics to find the meaning of the song, because, you know, as I've said, you know, people immediately get the impression it's heavy metal, it's evil, it's bad, you know. So I want to, you know, this is why I want to look into the songs and find out what the real story is behind it. And, you know, we've had songs about domestic violence, depression, mental health issues. You know, we've had songs that touch really deep and important subjects. And that's something you don't find very much in other genres of music. You know, in hip-hop, you might occasionally get one. I've used this example many times, like Toy Soldiers by Eminem. You know, and he's actually singing about the sort of gang wars and, you know, these drive-by shootings that happen that are associated with hip-hop. You know, that actually has a deep and important meaning. But you don't find tracks like that too often in things like hip-hop, and especially not pop music. You know, pop music is very sort of vapid, self-serving rubbish, basically. You know, there's no deep stories behind it. Again, there might occasionally be, but it's very rare. But when it comes to heavy metal music, there tends to be a lot more in the way of deep, meaningful material. But people fail to see this because they just want to put it down to being cruel, evil, and violent, which it isn't. So yeah, I went a bit off on a tangent there, didn't I? But you know, this track, I thought it was brilliant. I liked the video because it was unusual. You know, what's with the random old man in the video just sort of making weird hand movements and whatnot? You know, what was that all about? But it really sort of caught me. And like I said, it was a very different style of music to everything else I'd encountered. So again, that caught my attention as well. So, yeah, like I said, we're reaching the end of the birthday marathon. We've only got one more day after these, so hopefully you will join me for those. But yeah, I'm going to leave that as it is. If you enjoyed the video, maybe give it a like, possibly even subscribe if you aren't already, because that would help me out quite considerably. And yeah, thank you all very, very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.